Hi, this video is to introduce you to the density lab in the Gizmo. A Gizmo is an interactive lab that allows you to manipulate things on the website to understand more about the topic for that lab. This one is going to be on density. To get to this, you're going to go to your Canvas page to find the Gizmo lab. And in it, you'll see directions that will allow you to log in and join my Gizmo class. It is based on different class mods, so you'll use the class code for whatever mod you're using or you're in with me. And copy or paste that code and choose Enroll. If you've already worked with Gizmos, you can say, I already have an Explore Learning account, log in now. That's if you remember your login and password, of course. If not, you can simply go to Create, and using your first initial and last name, your school email address, for example, your username and password, first initial, last name, and graduation year. Your network password can be used so that you can just keep that ongoing. This Gizmo is something that is class specific, so you want to join the actual class mod that your code is representing. For the Gizmo, what we're going to be doing is using explorelearning.com website. The explorelearning.com website is what you're going to be enrolling in. If you haven't already, you can click the Add to Class in the upper right-hand corner and use that class code. You'll also be opening up a copy of the Gizmo in a Google Doc. So when you click on Gizmo Density Laboratory, it says make a copy and record your answers with units and proper significant figures and complete the 5 multiple choice questions below the graphics. Let me show you what those are. With this problem, you're creating the copy. When you have a copy of the document, I would recommend changing the name to maybe include your name. And please move it to your drive in a folder representing the science class that you're taking. By doing that, it'll make it easier to find when you go to submit it. Also remember, you need to share your document with people who have a Gettysburg Area School District web address and copy the link. I ask that you do the copy the link option as a share so that I don't get numerous emails saying that you've given me access. If you put my email address in, it will email me for every student who does that. So instead, use the copy link to copy the link and paste that as your submission in Canvas. Now back to the activity. In this activity for the density Gizmo, you're going to be looking at objects that float and sink. And at the bottom of the first page, there's a data table you need to fill in. You'll go over to the website, explorelearning.com, where you'll find objects that you're going to be able to click and drag to the scale, record all of the digits on the display, including the units. Then move that into the graduated cylinder. You'll see that the graduated cylinder has a set amount of water, 400.0 milliliters. When we put it in, the volume goes up to 414.2. We call this volume by displacement. The water has actually gone up because of the volume of the object. But instead of having to worry about doing the math, this website does the math for you, and you're going to record the 14.2 cubic centimeters as the object's volume on your data table. Then you'll click and drag it over to this big container of a liquid that has a density of 1.0. And fun fact, the density of water is 1.0 grams per milliliter. So this could very well be water. We put our object in it, and we're going to see if it sinks or floats. So object 1's information would be entered onto our data table, the 19.5 grams, the 14.2 cubic centimeters, and the fact that it sank. The density column isn't filled in right away. As you scroll through the directions, after finishing measuring the 12 objects, you're going to hold off on measuring the crowns and then count how many objects floated and how many objects sank, and answer some questions about comparing masses of different substances and whether they sank or floated, as well as the different volumes. Your goal with this first part is to figure out if there's a general rule that you can say that always happens. Like when the mass is greater than this number, it always sinks. Or if the mass is greater than the volume, it will float or sink, whatever it is. So figure out a general rule that you can type onto that blue line for sort of understanding how mass and volume create the sinking or floating effect. Then in the section called measuring density, you're going to actually calculate density using this equation. So you'll go back to your data table on the first page and take the mass measurement and divide it by the volume measurement. You'll record the rounded density with the correct number of significant figures in the last column. So if we have a mass with 3 significant figures and a volume with 3 significant figures, our answer can only have 3 significant figures, no more, no less. Make sure you include units on that density. Since the mass unit is different than the volume unit and they don't cancel, you'll keep both of them with a fraction line in between on the density unit. Grams per cubic centimeter will be your unit. Then you'll answer some questions about the sinking and floating objects. Then you'll be asked to work with the crowns. You'll do the same types of steps with the 3 crowns on the bottom shelf, measuring their mass and their volume, and determining whether they sink or float. After you've answered questions about the crowns and figured out which one, indeed, is the one of pure gold, you'll proceed to the bottom of the packet, bottom of the document, where it says assessment questions. Write your answer, choice, and reasoning. So you're going to choose the answers to the 5 assessment questions I'm about to show you and why you chose that. If you have to do a little math problem, then show me the little math problem that you did, or your reasoning behind choosing that answer. These questions can be answered best after you've done the Gizmo activity. You'll use the multiple choice and choose the answer that is correct for the 5 questions. Then at the bottom, you'll click Check Your Answers. By clicking Check Your Answers and having been logged into my class set, your results will be directly sent to me, and then I'll transfer those into Skyward. They don't automatically connect to our grade book, but I'll transfer those grades into Skyward, our gradebook program. Hopefully that takes care of your initiation into a Gizmo. I hope it goes well for you. Enjoy.